This is the story of how a man sold the Eiffel Tower. And obviously, it wasn't his. It was a con so clean it left Paris blushing. I mean, if a national monument shows up with a price tag and a hush-hush memo, you don't need a calculator, you need sneakers. So let's roll the tape back. Year 1890, place Bohemia, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That's where our guy is born, Victor Lustig. And I want to say our scammer of the day, but, you know, let's be classy. Our mastermind of misdirection. He grows up smart, slick, and restless. By his 20s, he's a polyglot with a gambler's heartbeat, working the luxury liners between Europe and America. Cards, charm, little side hustles. He learns two big lessons at sea. Rich people hate boredom, and confidence is a passport. I mean, if you can look like you belong, doors open by themselves. War reshuffles Europe, Paris becomes his playground, and Victor perfects the art of sounding official while saying nothing. Stationery becomes a costume, titles become props. The man is a walking letterhead. You know the type. Cut to the main stage. Paris, 1925. The city's buzzing, the papers are full of little scandals, and somewhere in a hotel lobby a very charming man is reading about how expensive it is to keep the Eiffel Tower standing. I mean, routine maintenance on a giant iron triangle? Not cheap. And that tiny fact, that boring little budget line, is all a pro-con artist needs. Enter Victor Lustig. Accent, perfect suit, a smile that says, "Trust me," and eyes that say, "Don't." He cooks up a role so official it feels boring. Deputy Director at the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs. You know, the kind of title that makes people nod and stop asking questions. He prints fancy letterhead, drafts confidential invitations, and books a room at the Hôtel de Crillon. Because if you're going to lie, at least lie somewhere with marble. The pitch is deliciously reasonable. The tower's maintenance is a money pit. There's political disagreement. The government wants to quietly sell it for scrap to avoid public outcry. Strict secrecy, you understand? And the scrap dealers? Oh, they understand. Discretion is a language money people speak fluently. Lustig lines up a handful of serious metal merchants, gives them a private briefing like it's state business, and then adds the spice only pros use. Corruption, gently whispered. Look, I can steer this your way, but you know how these things go. He doesn't say bribe. He lets the silence do the talking. I mean, the man was a symphony conductor of awkward pauses. His ideal mark is André Poisson, new money, eager to sit at the big table, desperate to make a headline move. Lustig studies him the way surgeons study x-rays. He flatters the wife, he flatters the ego, he floats a number that's big enough to feel exclusive and just low enough to feel like a steal. Then he steps back and lets the fear do the work. Fear of missing the deal, fear of looking small. You know how status games go. Poisson bites. He pays the facilitation to grease those invisible wheels and puts down a hefty deposit to close the deal. Done, stamped. We'll formalize tomorrow. And by tomorrow, Lustig means I'll be in Austria. He vanishes so cleanly it's almost polite. And here's the cruel genius. Poisson doesn't rush to the police. Why would he? If he admits he tried to secretly buy the Eiffel Tower for scrap, he's not just a victim, he's a punchline. Shame is the con man's getaway car. Weeks pass. No headlines, no warrants, no angry editorials. So Lustig does what any audacious scammer would do. He comes back. Same hotel, same stationery, same story. He even recruits another set of scrap dealers. But lightning only loves arrogance for so long. One of the new prospects smells something off, calls a friend, and the whispers turn into questions. Lustig feels the change in the air and bolts again. This time across the Atlantic. Paris keeps its monument, Lustig keeps his legend. In America, he doesn't exactly retire. He runs the infamous Romanian Box, a handsome little machine that duplicates money if you feed it a real bill and wait long enough. Spoiler, it duplicates faith, not cash. He graduates to counterfeiting dollars at scale, gets on the radar of the U.S. Secret Service, gets caught in 1935, even escapes a New York jail for a hot minute, gets caught again, and lands 15 years plus 5 more for the escape. Final address, Alcatraz. Final chapter, 1947 pneumonia, game over. Now, why did this scam work so beautifully? Because Lustig didn't sell metal, he sold plausibility. He wrapped a crazy idea in boring details, paperwork, titles, a fancy venue, a budget problem, and let people convince themselves. I mean, that's the whole trick. You walk into the lie, the con man just opens the door. Also, the secrecy wasn't a bug, it was the product. We must keep this quiet. It's politically sensitive. Discretion will be rewarded. The moment you accept the secret, you also accept the lack of verification. No press, no peer checks, no public records. Just a very confident man with very official stationery. You know that feeling when something feels so inside track, you don't want to ask dumb questions? That feeling is where money goes to die. And then there's Poisson. He wasn't dumb, he was positioned. New in the circle, hungry to prove himself, vulnerable to flattery, desperate not to look naive. He wanted the win and the welcome. Lustig didn't need to overpower him, he just had to align the fantasy with the fear. This deal will make you huge. Also, if you hesitate, someone else will grab it. People move fast when the elevator doors are closing. The part I love, because it's so human, is the silence after. Targets often don't shout, they retreat, they self-edit, they protect their image. And that silence is what lets cons scale. We don't want to be memes, so we say nothing. I mean, it's elegant in a tragic way. Let's talk craft, because Lustig was annoyingly good at it. He tailored the pitch to fit the moment. The tower's original plan was never to be eternal. It had faced criticism. Upkeep was expensive. Private deals did happen in governments, just usually not with monuments. He carefully controlled the environment. Crillon equals legitimacy. Letterhead equals gravitas. Appointments equal importance. Every prop was a nudge. This is how serious people behave. And the bribe request, that was the commitment test. If you're willing to break a small rule, you'll cross the big one without flinching. And yeah, he almost did it twice. That's audacity plus market research. Run it once, no press, market still ripe. Run it again. When the second group blinked, he didn't force it, he left. Real pros don't chase bad beats, they protect the legend. What's the takeaway for us beyond don't buy landmarks from strangers? Simple, and it still works in 2025. When a deal arrives wrapped in secrecy, status, and speed, slow down. Ask for daylight. If this is legitimate, I can bring my lawyer. If it's official, it can survive a headline. If it's real, it won't vanish when I ask for a receipt. You know the drill. Also, if paperwork is impressive but unverifiable, it's theater. Call the ministry, check the register, phone the hotel to confirm the room booking, and if anyone suggests a facilitation, smile, stand up, and let the chair keep it warm for the next guy. I mean, if a national monument comes with a whisper and a wink, the only thing getting dismantled is your bank account, Victor Lustig didn't just sell the Eiffel Tower. He sold a story that felt safer than the truth. That's the real craft. And that's the part to remember the next time someone says, "This has to stay between us," and slides a very official folder across a very expensive table. You know,